G Squared Tactical. Um, I started thinking about some revolvers today, and I think because I had pulled one out and that I typically carry around with me in the summertime when I'm wearing shorts and stuff, and that would be this Taurus here. And I used to carry this Bodyguard 38 Special. This Taurus is a Poly 605 357 mag that'll shoot 38 Special as well. Um, and if you've listened to some of my other videos, you've probably learned by now that I'm not a huge fan of Taurus, and I think that the reason I gravitated towards the Smith & Wesson revolvers, the Ruger revolvers, stuff like that, and stayed away from the Taurus revolvers was because of the bad sour taste I had in my mouth from the semi-auto Tauruses that I have owned. And, I'm not ready to back away from that assessment about the semi-automatic Tauruses, because I still have never owned one, and I've tried other ones, bought other ones. People say, well, try this one, we'll try that one. Well, the 24/7's okay. Well, the PT something something, and I would purchase these or know someone who did, had the same problems with the jamming, the failing to feed, the stove piping, just completely slide, just wouldn't come back at all after the round fired. So I'm not a fan of Taurus, and so I think that kind of caused me to stay away from, even Taurus revolvers. I never even considered them, but I've seen a judge, a Taurus judge, a poly, not the original judge, with that was all steel. This was a poly, so it's basically steel, half the steel, I guess, wrapped in a polymer type frame that's made the frame look as though it was all polymer, but it was a mixture. And I took it out to the range of the 410 or 45 long colt. I took it out to the range, and we ended up shooting skeet with the thing, because as challenging as that is, and had a lot of fun with it. And I took it underneath houses. Sometimes when we run into a nest of snakes one time, and it got dirt all in it. It looked like, I have pictures of that. And I cleaned the thing up. We took it out skeet shooting again. It performed really, really well. Actually very accurate. The cylinder never locked up on me, and never had a problem ejecting the spent casings right after I shot. And 410 and a 45 long coat, but especially a 410, is a heavy hitter for a small polymer wrapped frame of a revolver. And I've probably ended up putting 400 or 500 rounds through that thing. And the rifling in the barrel still looks good. I was impressed with it, for the price point. And so I started considering them more often. And I had bought this 38 Special Bodyguard Smith & Wesson, and it's got a unique feature to it. And you can get it outfitted with the Crimson Trace laser. And the thing about it is that you need it outfitted with the Crimson Trace laser, because the trigger on the thing is atrocious. It's as bad, if not worse, than the Bodyguard 380. And you can't hit. Like, my wife shot it one time. It's like, what's wrong with something wrong with that trigger? You want to send that back for warranty? She thought something was wrong with it. The trigger is so bad. And so by the time you think that it's going to break and you try to get your sights lined up, and then it doesn't break, and then the trigger finally breaks, you end up hitting the guy's target next to you. It's that bad, and I just always thought in my mind, well, it doesn't have a hammer. I got the Crimson Trace laser on it, on where I used to. And so, it'll be an up close gun anyway. So what difference does it make? And so one day I was looking at this 605 Poly by Taurus here, and it come with two different grips. So this is the longer of the two grips. It had one that was a slight bit shorter than this, but it comes with it, like, included. Of course, it has a lock with it, the fiber optic front sight, the recessed hammer here, which makes it really good if you want to carry it in your pocket. It could still snag in your pocket, but less likely. It's not hammerless, but I like a revolver with a hammer. And you know what? The recoil from a 357, in my opinion, I don't have scientific facts to back this up, but in my opinion, the recoil on this at least felt less in the 357 than this one did with a 38 special in it. So, you know, and Taurus has always done a really good job at making some nice recoil absorbing rubber grips on their guns. And, you know, and I put the longer one on here because it's easier to hold on to. But, you know, the other impressive thing to me is that the trigger is really, really smooth. It doesn't feel as heavy. It breaks when you expect it to break. You don't have that awkward take up and then it feels like it's going to break and then it don't break. It's really impressively smooth for something in this price point. And I was really accurate with it, and I actually enjoyed shooting it, which is uncommon for me with a revolver. But the most impressive thing about this revolver is that I have seen it as cheap as $225. I personally paid about $260 for it after taxes and everything. But you're looking somewhere between $225 and $260 for this revolver, 357 that'll shoot 38 special. And I had no problems. I put about 100 rounds through it so far. I've only had it for a few months. Versus the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard without the laser is about $400 after tax. So we're talking potentially $225 and potentially $400. I mean, that's a $175 difference, and I like this gun better. It was more accurate. The trigger was better. It handled the recoil a lot better. And of course, the nicest thing is that it was cheaper. So, you know, if you're out there considering some revolvers and you've heard me talk, bad about, Taurus, and you probably will even more when it comes to their semi-automatic guns, definitely give their revolvers a chance. I always hear people ask for a budget-friendly gun, Like, typically, a budget-friendly gun equals a gun that's not so great, that maybe you can't trust, that's not, going to be reliable for you, maybe not going to last as long. And that's usually what a budget-friendly gun means. But if you're looking for a revolver, something you can put in your purse, if you're a lady, and even in your pocket, I put it in my pocket, even like a small backpack or something. We're talking 357 Magnum. That's a pretty heavy hitting round, and so definitely consider this. And if you know me personally, you know that I'm not going to advocate for anything that I don't personally or would not personally trust my life or my family's life with. And I would this gun. So far so good. If that changes, I'll do another video. But given the price point on this thing, I definitely would consider this gun. This is a Taurus Poly 605 357 Magnum. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please ask any questions, and please like and subscribe to the channel to see our up and coming videos. Thanks for watching, and God bless you.